When it comes to virtual pinball, there is a love and hate for this. Personally, I'm a big fan of virtual pinball because I just love what it is. I grew up with the original pinball machines, but Pinball FX is of course something totally different. It's full digital and it doesn't have the same experience. Nowadays we're having so many new options to use our Nintendo Switch, for example, to play virtual pinball. Sharpin is one of these ways that we can play the virtual pinball games on a completely different way. We're only going to need a Sharpin cabinet and we're having a Nintendo Switch. The one thing I already can say is that virtual pinball is not very cheap. But nevertheless, we're going to use the docking station in this version. We're going to connect it to the Sharpin and we're going to see what are we going to get. But first, let's talk about the Sharpin itself. Sharpin is a totally different way to play virtual pinball games, and it's also a big improvement if it comes to the personal experience where you're having with a virtual pinball game, because with a touchscreen it's fun, but at the end playing on a full size cabinet and a 24-inch IPS beautiful display gives this a full new dimension how you're going to play virtual pinball games. But what you need to know is that this is more like a DIY kit. The DIY kit comes complete with instruction manuals, and I also did a very extended tutorial and where I step by step explain to you how you're going to put it together. It's very easy, it's very convenient. It's just basically you're buying something from the IKEA, you have the manual, you have a screwdriver, and that's the only thing you're going to need. And it's a lot of fun and you can do it within an hour or so. It's always highly recommended that you're going to check if you have every part that is needed for building it, and as you can see we're only having a couple of different parts. So again, putting this thing together is very easy and not hard to do. Basically what you're going to need is a screwdriver, and you need to put all these little blocks on the position. Did notice with the Nintendo Switch version we're having a totally different encoder board, but the way how you need to connect it is basically the same. So for the audio, this time we're going to do it a little bit differently. The reason why, because the speakers can be inside, but we can also use it outside. There's a little bit something you just need to take in consideration for yourself. These are USB powered and with a jack, so we're going to connect them straight on the Nintendo Switch, for example. And it's very easy, plug and play, and we don't need an external power supply. Alright, so I'm going to give you a little demonstration how you can install your Nintendo Switch on the Sharpin. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to use the little speakers, we're going to use the docking station. You can of course build it in your machine, but that is not really convenient. So I'm going to do it like this. So what you can see here, we're having here the HDMI cable, we're having the adapter that is going to be needed for powering the display itself. We're going to put the HDMI inside of the dongle, because basically we're going to use it docking mode. The power for the speakers is USB, so we are going to use the USB from the docking station from the shot. You can also do it from the USB in the inside, but that is also not very convenient. Next, we are going to use this power brick inside the power strip that is needed for the display to power on. Don't forget, we can also use the original power strip that you're going to get with the cabinet. And the final thing that needs power is of course the Nintendo Switch docking and the system itself. So let's put it in so we can start up. But when it comes to the original power strip, you can just use it inside the cabinet itself, or like I'm showing you with the Android version. And the same goes for the little speakers. I'm just using them outside because I think it's more convenient in this review, but you can just basically put them inside. The only thing we need to do is putting in the Nintendo Switch. It's already booted up in Pinball FX and everything is configured correctly. Alright, for navigation, for up and down I'm using the blue and the red button, and the white and black are for entering and of course for going back and launching the ball. At the side we have two buttons and at each side, and what we're going to do with these is we're going to use the flipper of course, and the other one is for nudging the pinball machine. So all the buttons are configured and we can use the game, but for all the other options we're going to need a control. The same story goes with the Android version, that we're going to need a remote. I did notice that with Sharpin and combined with the Pinball FX3 is one of the best experiences I had with this cabinet. Pinball FX3 is very cool, very convenient, and it has a lot of great tables. But keep in mind that you need to buy them separately. So when it comes to the pinball tables on this 1080p display, it looks beautiful. And also, I think if you compare this with the Android versions, you will notice that the graphical part is way better with the Nintendo Switch in general. When you're having the camera up close, you can see all the details and light up features, and some of these things are missing with the Android versions. Alright, so let's give this bad boy a try and let's see how it plays. Alright, so this is a very great example. Now I need to adjust the view angle, so I'm going to need the controller for this. So, alright, so it's adjusted so we can play a new game.
I don't see Whisper anywhere. Skeletons! Run! Let's get out.
Pinball FX nowadays also support a lot of classic tables, so I think that is pretty cool and pretty convenient. So to conclude, what is the Sharpin cabinet? I think it's a high quality product that comes with a very nice display, and the buttons give you this very cool experience when you're playing the Pinball FX game. The display itself, it's beautiful in IPS 24 range, and this gigantic screen in this perfect position gives you a totally new experience when you're playing it with your Nintendo Switch. The question of course is, why should you buy something like this? If you are into Pinball FX big time, you really love pinball games, and you want to have this next level of experience. The same goes if you want to have a racing wheel for your racing game, because you can just buy yourself a very cheap racing wheel, or you can just buy something pretty damn awesome to have this full, or better said, next level experience. I think the same goes or applies with this Sharpin pinball table. Again, it's an overall not cheap, but it's just a pretty damn awesome thing to have if you're a big fan of pinball. I want to thank you for watching. It's awesome that you're tuning in, and consider subscribing and hit the little bell. I have a lot of great stuff coming up if it comes to reviewing products, and I hope to see you in the next video.